Here is my Screen-O-Matic presentation for Communication and Collaboration, Module 3. What is communication? The textbook defines communication as a general term that implies the conveyance or information either one way or through an exchange of two or more partners. And as you can see from the picture, communication actually is more complicated than we may believe it to be. Communication has three different types of patterns. The first pattern that I'm going to be talking about is point-to-point two-way. I like to call this the ping pong effect because it's the type of conversation that cannot happen alone. It takes place with two people talking back and forth. There's give and take. Examples that I have on the presentation would be like internet chatting. That could be through Skype. That could be through just texting, phone conversations, face-to-face conversations, and any other type of possible interaction. Communication patterns, the second one is one-to-many outbound. As you can see from the picture, you have the good old boring lecture, and that is the typical one-to-many outbound ways. I think when you think of it as a kid, that type of communication was the kind of communication that put you to sleep, especially if you were interested or had a high interest in what is being conveyed to you. The different types of outbound or like TV shows, classroom lectures, presentations, any type of communication where there's no social interaction. It's pretty much all one-sided. The third communication pattern is many-to-many. This is when it happens in a group conversation where there are multiple people listening and talking. That would be group projects, community meetings, classroom discussions. It can be a little bit more challenging because there's definitely more give or take, and knowing when and where it's appropriate to communicate can sometimes be a little bit tricky. Social interaction is communication that is two-way with an authentic audience that shares some of the goals of communication. This really speaks to me because I'm an autism consultant, and the socialization is very difficult for the population of students that I work with. And they don't have that authentic ability to see those hidden social things that happen on a day-to-day basis. And so it makes it very tricky for them to have those interactions. The types of social interaction are synchronous, which is interaction between two people. It occurs in real time, during which the participants take turns talking. I have a phone there as an example because that's a perfect example of that ping pong where people are talking either through the phone, Skype, face-to-face, or just chatting on texting type of basis. The other kind of social interaction is asynchronous, and it is when the social interaction between people does not occur at the same time. To me, this is the most challenging type of social interaction because it can be interpreted many different ways, especially through emails, letters, phone messages. When you're not able to have that ping pong conversation back and forth, sometimes you can misread or interpret that conversation. What makes us successful with communication? I like to think of collaboration and cooperation definitely is a key to making communication a success. And as we grow and mature, these two types of communication definitely help guide us in being more effective. And collaboration, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly define it. I have both examples from the text, Coleman and Edbert, but it's defined as interactions between two or more people for the transfer of complex information for some common goal or over a specific period of time. And I think, in the educational field, we're constantly collaborating for the betterment of our students. You may not always see eye to eye, but we're always putting the student's best interest in collaborating in order to have an end product. Cooperation is when students have separate roles. Cooperation is when students have separate roles in a structured task and pool their data to a specific end. Cooperation goes hand in hand with collaboration. It is when students have separate roles in structured tasks and pool their data to a specific end. The communication impacts on learning, the ISTE standards that I used to incorporate within this presentation for the administrator was Net Standard 3C, Excellence in Professional Practice, promoting model effective communication and collaboration among stakeholders using digital age tools. In the district that I've recently worked in, all administrators have iPads, and they use those iPads in order to evaluate staff, go into any type of team meeting, and collect data, take notes. But they're starting to use that mode of communication in a collaboration way, so they're incorporating technology in that way. Teachers, I have the Net Standard 1B, facilitate and inspire student learning and creativity, engaging students in exploring real-world issues and solving problems using digital tools and resources. And the reason why I put this one is because I've been working with a lot of teachers this year using iPads, iPods in a more purposeful way for their students in autistic classrooms. So I definitely, when I saw that standard, it stood out to me. And finally, the student standard, creativity and innovation, applying existing knowledge to generate new ideas, products, and processes. Shoot. The final standard for students was Net Standard 1A, creativity and innovation, which was applying existing knowledge to generate new ideas, products, and processes. And with the type of technology that they're starting to incorporate within the classrooms, it definitely gives them a knowledge in a way to generate that use of technology in a more functional way. They're able to use them for schedules. They're able to use them for reinforcement, motivational ideas. And so communication, socialization, and behavior is being incorporated and in a positive way by the use of technology. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my presentation, and I have someone on the other end that would like to communicate as well. They would like to tell you, say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time to listen to my presentation on communication and collaboration. I have someone sitting here next to me who would like to tell you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's from my down now.